News is the rating has come out for this game that Shedeur Sanders made his debut in, and some people are like, it was 3 times higher for the Hall of Nielsen. The Sporting News on X, 2.2 million people tuned in to see Sanders play for the Browns against the Carolina Panthers last week.
The Cleveland Browns just saw something they haven't seen since George Bush Sr. was president, and every football fan on earth stopped what they were doing to watch it happen. We're not talking about going to the Super Bowl or even the playoffs. This is something that should happen every few years for any good franchise, but it's been Cleveland's worst nightmare. A rookie quarterback actually winning his first game. Like this video if you like Shedeur. If you want to see Shedeur win, leave a comment. Browns fans, write it down. Your team's history books will always remember this date. The Las Vegas Raiders were the victim. The score at the end was 24-10, and the young gunslinger who finally broke the curse of failure that has plagued Cleveland since the 1990s is Shedeur Sanders, the 5th-round steal who has been proving critics wrong since he first laced up his cleats in the NFL. Let's talk about how crazy this streak was. You can't really understand how big this moment is if you don't know what happened before it. The Cleveland Browns hadn't seen a rookie quarterback win his first game since 1995. Give that a minute to sink in. This was the year Windows 95 came out and people were still learning how to use email. The year The Rock was still wrestling in a turtleneck. The Browns were about to go through almost 30 years of quarterback hell that would make them the biggest joke in the NFL. This was the year before LeBron James could even drive. The streak should have been completely broken. 17 games. 17 times in a row, a Browns rookie quarterback left the field after losing their first game. 17 different stories of hope turn into heartbreak before the break. 17 harsh reminders that Cleveland couldn't figure out the most important position in football. This wasn't just bad luck. This wasn't just a bad time. This was a complete organizational disaster that turned into a Twitter meme, a late-night TV joke, and a warning to all other franchises about what happens when you can't get the quarterback position right. The list of quarterbacks who caused this losing streak is like a hall of shame. Top draft picks who failed worse than a cheap piñata. Debt-ridden quarterbacks brought in as bridge players led the team straight off a cliff. Developmental players who showed promise for a short time before falling back to earth. But they all had one thing in common. They lost their first game in orange and brown, which was just one more chapter in Cleveland's never-ending QB horror story. Shedeur Sanders said, "Not on my watch." This story is even crazier because of the circumstances surrounding Shedeur's first real-deal start. He shouldn't have been out there yet. The plan for the game was easy. Let him sit on the bench, study the playbook, get used to the speed of the NFL, and wait for his chance. But then, football came along. The starter got hurt, and then, boom. The 5th-round rookie who had been turning heads in the preseason was getting thrown into the fire for a real game. Most new players would have given up. Most guys who were picked in the 5th round would have been under a lot of pressure to lead an NFL offense with real stakes on the line. But Shedeur Sanders is not like most rookies, and his game against the Raiders showed that he's ready for the big time. Look at the stats. 11 completions on 20 tries, 209 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. Those are good numbers for any quarterback, but especially for a rookie who is making his first real start on short notice. But here's the deal. Stats are only one part of the picture. They don't show how confident he was, how well he was in the pocket, or how well he led the whole game. This wasn't a scared kid who was hoping to avoid mistakes and let the defense do all the work. This player knew what was going on, took charge, and made plays when his team needed them. The pocket was cool and calm. He threw the ball at the right time. The leadership is through the roof. Everything about his game said, "I belong here." Even though he got the call earlier than anyone thought he would. That long pass to Isaiah Bond, the best movies ever. He threw it 52 yards downfield, threading it between defenders like he was playing Madden on rookie mode and dropping it right in the bucket. That's not a good check down. That play action isn't a trick. That's a quarterback who can attack every part of the defense and make plays that change the course of a game in one snap. That's the kind of throw that first-round picks should make. And here's a 5th-round pick from Cleveland doing it in his first start. A kiss from the chef. The pass for the touchdown was even better. A 66-yard screen pass to Deion Sanders that showed Shedeur can work within the system and make big plays that score points. It looks easy to throw a screen pass, but it's not. The timing has to be just right. To get defenders to go the wrong way, you have to sell it just right. The throw's speed is important, and then your back has to take that short gain and make it something special. Everything came together on that touchdown pass, which was Shedeur's first in the regular season, and put points on the board when Cleveland needed them the most. Let's talk about the big issue, that interception. Every quarterback throws interceptions. He does it. Josh Allen does it. Brady even threw a lot of them. How you react is what makes the difference between the good and the bad. Do you let one bad place turn into a disaster? Do you start playing scared? Or do you shake it off, learn from it, and come back ready to go on the next drive? Shedeur is clearly in that third group. Even after the turnover, he kept firing with confidence, which is exactly what you want to see from your franchise player. The Browns' defense really does deserve a statue. 10 sacks. For those in the back, let me say that louder. 10 sacks. Those are numbers from video games. Myles Garrett was a real problem out there. He got 3 sacks on his own and spent the whole afternoon in the Raiders' backfield. The pressure was unending, the execution was brutal, and the result was an offense that looked like they had never seen a blitz package before. This defensive clinic took a lot of stress off Shedeur, who could now run the game instead of feeling like he had to be perfect or do everything himself. But here's something that's easy to miss. Even when your defense is doing well, the offense still has to do its job. You still have to move the chains. You still need to score. You still have to avoid making mistakes that give the other team easy points. Shedeur checked all the boxes, which is exactly what you want from a rookie quarterback making his first start. No one thought he would throw for 500 yards and 6 touchdowns. The mission was easy. Be smart, follow the game plan, make plays when you can, and keep the ball safe. Mission accomplished. The NFL loves the story that Shedeur's viewership numbers tell about star power. His preseason game against Carolina drew more than 2.2 million viewers, making it the most-watched preseason game on NFL Network in almost a decade. That's not just good for the preseason. It's crazy. This means that people were watching Shedeur Sanders even though the game didn't matter for the standings. We don't know the exact numbers for his first game against the Raiders yet, but all the buzz and excitement make it seem like it was a huge TV event. This was supposed to be a game that no one would remember, between two teams that no one thought would make noise. But it was must-see TV because Shedeur Sanders was starting, and everyone in the country was watching. You can't talk about Shedeur without talking about his dad. Deion "Primetime" Sanders is one of the most famous and exciting athletes in the history of American sports. He didn't just play 2 sports well. He made a brand, a whole vibe, and a cultural movement that went way beyond baseball and football. That legacy, that name recognition, and that star power all helped Shedeur in the NFL's bottom line. Think about how unusual it is for a 5th-round pick to get this much attention. Usually, guys who are picked that late or not at all. They might get some local news, but no one in the country cares what a rookie on day 3 is doing. But Shedeur Sanders is not like that. You have to watch him. He is a character that casual fans care about. He can do things that 99% of NFL players can't do. If Shedeur does well in Cleveland, it will have a big effect on the business of the team. For years, people all over the country have made fun of the Browns. Every sports show has made fun of their quarterback carousel. Because they can't make a winner, they are the butt of many jokes and the subject of sad documentaries. But now they have something electric. They have a young quarterback with a famous last name who can really play. They have hope. They've given fans a reason to believe again. Plus, they have a player who will sell tickets, jerseys, and boost ratings to the max. Sales of jerseys are about to go through the roof. When you add Shedeur's personal brand to Cleveland fans' desire for a franchise QB who can actually deliver, you've got a perfect storm. People who haven't bought Browns gear in years are suddenly ordering number 12. Fans who had given up are slowly letting themselves hope again. and all that new energy goes straight to the organization's bottom line. Shedeur seems to be in a good place in Cleveland. It's clear that the defense is good and can play well, like it did against the Raiders. Myles Garrett is one of the best pass rushers in the world, and having a defense like that makes it easier for the offense to score. The coaching staff trusts Shedeur enough to let him play quarterback instead of giving him a boring, overly cautious game plan. The receiving core may not be the best in the league, but they have enough talent to make plays when the ball is on the money. The connection with Isaiah Bond is especially exciting. Bond was also a rookie in this game, and the way he and Shedeur connected on that 52-yard bomb makes it seem like there could be real chemistry between the two young guys who could grow together over the next few years. When the chemistry between the quarterback and the receiver is that good, it becomes the basis for an offense that keeps defensive coordinators up at night. Shedeur showed a lot of maturity by how he handled the game. There were times when he could have thrown the ball too hard or tried to do too much, but most of the time he made smart choices about when to be aggressive and when to take what the defense gave him. Most new players take a while to learn how to manage a game like that, but Shedeur seemed to know what his team needed from him at different times in the game. The reactions after the game tell their own story. Teammates were really excited and celebrated with Shedeur in ways that showed how much they respected what he had just done. The coaches were nice, but they also made sure that the players knew what to expect in terms of their progress. And the fans, oh man, they finally had something to cheer about after years of heartbreak and disappointment. Social media went completely crazy. Fans of the Browns were cautiously hopeful after years of losing. National analysts were changing their minds about how good Shedeur and Cleveland could be. There were highlight clips all over the place. There was no end to the content that sports shows had to break down. People really cared about this story, as shown by how much they interacted with it. Shedeur is going to have a lot of stress in the future. A single good game doesn't mean anything. Defenses will watch the tape, figure out his habits, and then come at him with more complicated plans that are meant to confuse a young quarterback. The next step is to show that this wasn't a fluke by showing that he can deal with tough situations when games get ugly. It will be interesting to see how Shedeur and the Browns do business together. His prime equity clause means that he makes money directly from more sales of merchandise, sponsorships, and promotions. The Browns make money off of having a player who gets a lot of attention. It's a win-win because both sides have the same goal of making Shedeur as visible and successful as possible. If this works out for both sides, it could become the model for future deals. The national media will only cover Shedeur more from now on. Every game will be looked at closely. We will grade every throw. We will look at every quote from after the game. This is what it's like to be a well-known quarterback in the NFL today, especially one with a famous last name and already getting record-breaking ratings. How Shedeur deals with all the attention while still focusing on getting ready and doing well will be very important to his long-term success. It's only natural to compare him to his father's career, but it's also a little unfair. Deion played a different position in a different time and had a completely different set of skills. It's not really fair to compare Shedeur to primetime because they do very different things on the field. People will still compare them, though, because that's what they do with famous sports families. Shedeur's main goal is to honor his father's legacy while making it clear that his own career and achievements are separate from his father's. Shedeur has a strong support system around him. He has his father's advice and knowledge from working at the highest levels for many years. His coaches believe in him and give him the keys to the car. His teammates respect how well he prepares and leads. He has a team that really needs a stable quarterback and is willing to spend money on his growth. All of these things make it possible for a young quarterback to do well. Shedeur and his coaches will study the Raiders' game film very carefully as they get ready for their next game. There will be plays to celebrate and learn from, times when everything came together. But there will also be mistakes to fix, decisions to make better, and techniques to work on. You can never stop getting better as an NFL quarterback. The best players are the ones who stay hungry and want to get better all the time, even after they've done well. If Shedeur keeps playing like this, the Browns' season could change a lot. If a team has a real quarterback running the show, they might not be as bad as people thought. If the offense can keep moving the ball and scoring points, then dreams of making the playoffs that seemed impossible become at least possible. When you fix the quarterback position, the whole organization changes. And right now, after years of wandering in the desert, Cleveland may have finally found its answer. The curse is over. The streak is over. A new time has started. Welcome to the Shedeur Sanders era in